A win for Oklahoma in Bedlam is kind of expected this year, but a win for Oklahoma State, it might be the sweetest one that they've ever had. If you're brand new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I talk NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, but I love talking college football. If this is the type of content you enjoy, this is the channel made for you. So hit the subscribe button down below, give a thumbs up to the video, leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the Bedlam series. Go ahead and give me a follow on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson. Tell your friends, your mother, your sister, your brother, really everybody about this channel, because if we get to 1,000 subscribers by November 15th, I will shave my head live on air. Yep, 3 live shows a week. You don't want to miss out. So if you enjoy this type of content, subscribe and let's talk college football. Real fast, I know that for those of you who come in all the time, you see this background. I didn't move. I'm at my parents' house watching their dogs while they're away because I do most of my work from home or I travel and I don't have to really worry about most of the other stuff. So I'm here. I didn't upgrade. If you want to help me upgrade, that'd be great by subscribing to the channel. And no, I know there's a caterpillar on my lip. It's for a reason. Every year I do Mo Shave Movember, and I do it not because I have a sponsorship with Movember.com, though if you want to check out their great work, go ahead and visit their website at www.movember.com. I am a big proponent of mental health, especially for men who are left to the wayside, and Movember is all about that. It's also about helping out with bringing awareness to prostate cancer as well as testicular cancer. Globally, over 10.8 million men are living with prostate cancer. Testicular cancer is a common thing that's growing more and more with men ages 15 through 39. So if you want to check out their great work, go ahead and visit Movember.com and find out more information on how to help out with men's mental health as well as prostate cancer and testicular cancer. Back to the main point. So Bedlam, one of the best rivalries in college football. It is pure euphoric disdain. There is no other way to put it. If you grew up in the state of Oklahoma, you wore orange or you wore red, and that was it. You think of Alabama and Auburn. You think of Texas and Texas A&M back in the day. You think of Michigan versus Ohio State. Blue, red, there is no middle ground. It is orange, red. That's it. And you hate each other from the time that you were born until you are buried 6 feet deep. And then when you reach up to heaven, guess what? You're still arguing about this rivalry. That's the type of rivalry Bedlam is. And much like Texas A&M, when they decided to go to the SEC, they ended the rival of the Lone Star Showdown with Texas, or Texas ended it. You know, there's always going to be that conversation. You know, we don't know who truly is the right answer. But the victory by Texas against Texas A&M might be one of the sweetest ones that they ever had in the Lone Star Series in 2011 when Justin Tucker made the kick. And it wasn't because they beat A&M. It was because of they left A&M with a message as they departed for the SEC. We own the bragging rights. We are in charge. We get to go ahead and talk as much crap as we want about you because of you decided to leave, and here's your parting gift. A big fat L. Hopefully that money will keep you warm at night. And in the same breath, that's kind of what Oklahoma is doing to Oklahoma State. When Texas and Oklahoma decided to go to the SEC, they kind of left the entire Big 12 up in arms and wondering what happens next. And the reasoning behind that was they saw the dollar bills. They saw the opportunity to be in a bigger conference and on a more main stage spectacle, and they didn't care. And so Oklahoma State, primarily Mike Gundy, has taken this extremely personable. And thankfully, Bob Bowlesby, before we departed, and now Brett Yormark, have drastically changed the persona and the narrative that surrounds the Big 12 moving forward. It's actually, in my opinion, not only the most fun conference, but it's also one of the more deeper conferences in college football that everyone needs to be paying attention to. But I digress from that. Mike Gundy's pissed as all hell. He's an Oklahoma State alum. He remembers the games when he was playing. He remembers the atmosphere at Boone's Pickens Stadium or at Gaylord. He remembers what this game meant, not only to the state, but also what it meant to those players that strapped up and wanted revenge. He knows it. And so he is all beyond himself. And what's really interesting is that this is the perfect time for Bedlam. It's not the perfect time because the weather is changing and we're getting the leaves to fall down and it's nearing the end of the year. It's the perfect time because you've kind of seen these two schools do a 180 flip in about the last month. So Oklahoma State, remember the start of the year? They barely squeaked by Central Arkansas. I mean, they barely squeaked by. It was 27-13. They just get past on the road against Arizona State. And Arizona State had Jaden Rashada, very good quarterback that's going to be built for the future. But the kid's a kid, plain and simple. He's a freshman, and it's a brand new coach in Kenny Dillingham. Then they lose to South Alabama. And South Alabama is really well coached, but there was no reason to lose that game. And then you go on the road and you drop another game, 34-27 to Iowa State. And in that moment, kind of the personality and kind of the morale around Stillwater was very sullen. There was not a lot of positivity. There was not a lot of grace that was going on when it came to talking about Mike Gundy's future and the Pokes' future. And a lot of people kind of saw this coming. And yours truly, I thought at the start of the year that Oklahoma State was actually going to be one of the worst teams in the Big 12. Foolish on Cole, shut the hell up, don't ever talk again. But the bottom line was, this is what great coaches do. They see what the faults are, and instead of waiting and wallowing, they correct it. And that's exactly what Mike Gundy has done in the last 4 games. They are on a tear right now, getting a massive win over Kansas State, then hosting a top 25 Kansas team, winning that one, defeating West Virginia, and then last week's game against Cincinnati might have been the icing on the cake. It's a brand new version of the Pokes, and they're trending up. They're in the top 25 of the college football playoff rankings. They only have 1 loss in conference play, so their hopes of making the Big 12 championship game are alive and well. And Oklahoma is struggling. And I'm not saying that Oklahoma is the exact same version of what they were last year, where they start off really hot and then they lose in the Cotton Bowl, and then all these one-possession games, they falter and fall apart, and 6-7 is the final score. I don't think it's that. But you do have to realize, very incredible start. Defensively, they have turned the corner. It looked phenomenal going into Red River. That was one of the best defenses in college football. And they did so wherever they played. It didn't matter. It was on the road, at home. They were always finding avenues just to elicit offenses. And then they squeak by Texas, which you don't fault them for because Texas is a very good team. Then they squeak by against UCF, where I can give you a little bit of credit. John Reese Plumlee is a good quarterback, and they're very well coached by Gus Malzahn. And then you lose last week to Kansas. And I'm Team Kansas. I truly am. I think Kansas is a very good program, even though they have 2 losses next to their name. They're a stout team, and they're well coached, kind of like Mike Gundy. But you're starting to see this defense unravel. The offense is putting up points. They're scoring 30-plus every single week. But the defense that at one point was number 4 in the country in points allowed and number 4 in the country in total yards allowed and led the nation in turnovers, now is allowing every opponent to go ahead and go ham on them, primarily in the run defense. And what do you have waiting in Stillwater? You have Ollie Gordon, who in back-to-back weeks has rushed for over 250 total yards of offense, becoming the first player since Barry Sanders to do that. Barry Sanders, probably one of, if not the greatest running back to ever grace the NFL field. Ollie Gordon has over 1,000 rushing yards. He leads college football in rushing. Not only that, he's got great hands out of the backfield. He has 10 rushing touchdowns. And the crazy part about him is that you kind of view him, in a sense, if you really watch the games, as a guy that kind of is like you shake up a can of Sprite and you're waiting for all of that foam to get to the top, and then the fourth quarter comes and you pop open the can and off. The last 2 games, have you watched Ollie Gordon in the fourth quarter? Man's gone crazy. Super Saiyan. Not only did he rush for 6 touchdowns in those games, but he also had, I think, over 120 yards in both of the fourth quarters against Cincinnati and against West Virginia. So he gets better as the game goes on. And if you can't slow him down early, you're certainly not going to slow him down late. You also have a really good option at quarterback. And what I mean by that is you understand who's running the show at this point, which you didn't have beforehand with Alan Bowman. Bowman's experienced. He's played in 3 different offenses for 3 different schools when it comes to Texas Tech, when it comes to Michigan and now Oklahoma State. He's got 23 starts under his belt, so he's kind of been here before. Maybe not here, but definitely in those games where he's had to fight through a little bit of adversity. And you're starting to see the passing attack step up a little bit. It's nothing to write home about, but you are watching as more players are getting involved. Guys like Jaden Bray, guys like Brennan Presley, guys like Rashad Owens. They've all been extremely effective. Not to mention, Ollie Gordon is averaging 9.6 yards per play out of the backfield. So you're going up against a Oklahoma team that right now is faltering defensively, that hasn't been able to stop the run. They couldn't do anything against Jason Bean and against Devin Neal in Lawrence. And they have to travel again on the road to Boone Pickens Stadium, which honestly, if you talk to players who have played in the Big 12, there's a lot that will say Boone Pickens Stadium, because of the sticks, because of the atmosphere, and because of how tightly knit it is not only the loudest stadium in the conference, it's one of the more louder and hostile environments in the Big 12 and in the country. So you already know that this is going to be a game that comes with more than just bragging rights. It comes with pure hatred, especially from one side. And if Oklahoma State pulls this off, it's more than just a win. It's a statement win because of not only are you still in the running for maybe not the college football playoff, but definitely a Big 12 title, which would give you a New Year's Six bowl bid. It changes the narrative of the way that you view a guy like Mike Gundy. I think everybody at this point now, instead of saying, how much longer do we have to hold on to this coach, is how many more years is he going to be coaching and what do we have to do to extend him? And you also get that notion that Texas has had for over a decade on Texas A&M. We won, you lost, get used to it. Hopefully the money keeps you warm at night because the win that you did not get won't. And that's where you are with Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State right now is playing extremely well. I don't know if they'll win this game, but what I can tell you is that if they do, this will be one of the biggest wins in the history of the Bedlam Series. And you don't want to count out Oklahoma State just yet. They're playing their best football right now, and if you don't slow them down early, you're certainly going to get the whole crit and caboodle late. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.